What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the award-winning Nintendo podcast, backed by 120 Power Star rating, and the doors to episode 112 are open. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me, as always, is my best buddy, is Bryce DeWitt.
Oh, it's me. Hey.
Hey, Bryce, how you going?
What's going on? Yeah.
Okay. So, Bryce, you were kind enough to bring over a couple of beers for us.
Yeah, that's right, because I figured this will probably be a little bit of a longer session.
So introduce what is this beer you've brought me?
So I've been trying to get you to try this thing. Obviously, it's not easy to when the only thing that was available is on tap, but now it's available in cans. It's Cooper's XPA. Mm-hmm. So it's Cooper's new thing that they've put on the line. Everybody at the bar seems to like it. My bosses were in Adelaide. They come back and they were like, "We're getting this on tap. We've got like advertisements for the shit everywhere. We've got a giant Cooper's XPA sign in the bar now." Yeah, and I think it's like a decent drink to have one of, like between whatever else you're drinking, if that makes sense.
No, well,
it's really nice.
Let's find out.
Might be a bit strong on the first taste, but we'll find out, I suppose, for you.
Oh, that's not too bad. So, no, I don't mind a stout. Is it a stout? Is it classified as a stout? Or
it's a pale ale.
It's just a real strong pale ale.
That's what XPA is, extra pale ale.
Yeah, and it just tastes like stout almost. Like not as strong, but
no, yeah. I guess so. It doesn't have the same smoothness, I guess.
It's really weird drinking from a purple can and it tasting like this as well.
It is really strange, but it does say on the can, it's like its malt is Cooper's Pale. It's like cool. I kind of gathered that, right? And then the hops are Simcoe and Lemon Drop.
Lemon Drop.
Okay.
I can't taste the lemon.
You might after a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it becomes more distinct, and it's also one of their stronger beers as well. It's 5.2.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So you have to put a few in the fridge for the House of Mario so we can...
Yeah, we'll have to crack them on cracking Furfies.
Crack everything but a Furfy on that show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get around to Furfies eventually. We'll get around there.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into some housekeeping before we get into the show, Bryce.
All right.
So
let me get my broom.
Okay. Housekeeping. So we are going to PAX Australia, Bryce. Are you excited?
I'll be more excited when I get my confirmation email.
Well, so basically, I've got a media pass. Bryce is confirmed to have a media pass. He is just waiting on the email to 100% confirm and sort of settle his stomach a bit.
Well, but the issue is, though, is like I submitted mine like an hour after you, and I've now been waiting an extra 2 weeks and still haven't gotten an email. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, it's really confusing the hell out of me, but I suppose we'll just have to keep bugging them until they eventually send me this email.
Yeah, and obviously it's really awesome. We went as I guess we got provided passes last year to go to PAX, and it was an absolute honour. Absolutely loved going there and doing podcasts and all that. And we don't have anything locked in the stone just yet. We're sort of working through it, but it's going to be sort of similar to what we done last year. We're going to like cover the game straight away at the event itself, get an episode up straight away. And I don't know what games they're going to have there this year, Bryce, but PAX West just confirmed what games they're going to have at the PAX over there in America, in Seattle, and that's in about a week or something, I think.
Yep.
So they've got Luigi's Mansion, Link's Awakening, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Dragon Quest 11, Pokémon Sword and Shield. So they're going to have that there. And by the time PAX rolls around in early October, I think out of these games, the ones that won't be out will be...
Pokemon, Luigi's Mansion, Witcher.
And Witcher, yeah. The others will be out, but they might be still demoed in that there.
Yeah, those will be showcased. The thing is like they fall in a bracket where like they're close enough to release that it's sort of just like, yeah, they might as well just have them playable at an event so people can have a look at them and whatever.
Yeah.
But obviously with stuff like Link's Awakening and whatever, that's all out for us by the time that it rolls around. It'll probably still be there, but... You know, I mean, we all would have played it by then.
Yeah.
And probably finished it too, for that matter. So, yeah.
So, I guess we're mainly going to be covering probably Pokemon, Luigi's Mansion, presumably there. depending on what indie games they have as well, because had like Untitled Goose Game and a few like smaller games there last year.
Yeah, little indie section was nice.
And like the Untitled Goose Game, they had the biggest line out of like any of the games there.
Yeah, because it was just exactly what it entitles.
Yeah,
Untitled Goose Game. Yeah,
and we missed our opportunity too, because we're like, oh, we'll play it later. We did not get to play it later because the line never went down.
yeah. Like,
so I've got to remember that this year. If you see like we've got to make sure we play the games where it only has one demo, because that's going to be a lot longer.
By the time we got to it, the line was like as big as Kingdom Hearts 3, which had 5 televisions, but still, that was also like
we got to play New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. That was a lot different. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be at PAX, and I think what the idea is, we're going to do an episode sort of straight after impressions of the games. We're going to do an episode at the Audio Technica booth like we did last year. We're going to get some guests. Haven't talked to anyone about that yet.
We'll get around to it.
And we're also going to do an episode similar what we did at AvCon, where we're going to have guests chronicle our sort of trip throughout the whole weekend and put it all together and talk to lots of different people. And yeah, because I really enjoyed doing that episode for AvCon and listening back to it. It's a lot of fun, just like from the very start to the very end.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun time.
And even that bit of the oven, which I didn't intend to go in the episode, but when I got all the pieces back when I was editing it together, I'm like, bugger it, put it in there.
Yeah, it's going in there,
Yeah. And what were you going to say?
No, I didn't say nothing, mate.
There's bloody birds outside. I hope that's not picking up on the microphone. So
probably is. Probably is. Stupid freaking plovers.
Plovers. I hate plovers.
Oh, don't we all?
Do you remember? I remember at school. Do you remember plovers at school?
I do remember the plovers at school because they fueled unending nightmares in my childhood.
Do you remember? Do you remember at primary school over near the tunnels, and like the whole school? For some reason, everyone got their adrenaline kicked by basically avoiding plover swoops. You run to their nest and like you're ducking and weaving. And the whole school's over there, and this one teacher on yard duty comes over, and like you go to the detention if you're mucking around the birds.
Yeah.
So the whole school just bolts. It's like 300 kids just running away from this teacher. It's so funny. That's gonna make no sense if they couldn't hear the plovers. They've shut up now. They heard us. And just a other little bit of housekeeping is that my other podcast, A Drew Story Episode 3, is live. It was with Zayara Cosplay, who I got to talk to at AvCon. It's one of the episodes and the interviews we did there. So if you'd like to listen to that, it's on podcast feeds and all that fun stuff.
Beautiful.
So Bryce, we're going to jump into what we've been playing. We've had a bit of time where we've been playing some games, been enjoying ourselves. I'm going to throw it to you. What have you been playing, my friend?
What have I been playing? Jesus. So, Fire Emblem, for obvious. I've been taking sort of like sparse breaks every now and then because I'm sort of like, I'm going too fast, if that makes sense. Like, that sounds weird in the context of like, there are people beating it in the first 3 days or whatever, but like, there was a crucial point because I was going Black Eagles. There's a crucial point where like you've got a choice that you've got to make, and I completely missed it. So now I've been set on a completely different path that I intended to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd you miss it?
Very easily.
Okay.
Very easily.
So I haven't got to that point yet, so I'm actually asking. I don't know. Yeah.
No, the funny thing is though, is that just a very, very minor detail that is slightly very minor spoilish is that the Black Eagles house is the only one with 2 paths. So you're safe. You're going to get the same path no matter what.
Right, okay.
So, but with me, I didn't really have an option. I missed one small detail, which completely screwed my run because I wanted to do the other path. Mm-hmm. But now I'm set on the other one, and I'm going to have to, finish that one, restart again, actually get the option I need to, move forward next time, and then, go through that all over again. So
you're actually going to, like, redo it once you finish the game? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to. Because,
have to?
Well, yeah, because, like, I feel like I'm gone too far through now to be like, I'll just stop here and restart again. Like, I feel like I've invested so much time in my save file already.
You didn't have a save file before that point you can go back to?
I did, but a while back.
Right.
And that's I'll probably still use that. I think it was like, it's like chapter 7 or something. Whereas I'm like chapter 14, chapter 15 now. So I might just go back and use that save file to do that other path, just to cut out a bit of time, because obviously I've spent a lot of time in the Black Eagles. I don't really need to go back and fiddle with all of it again. I'll just revert and go from where I left off. But between that, I suppose I picked up Sword Art Online's Fatal Bullet collection. And I put a little bit of time into that, which was fun. I still haven't made a major push to go through the story or anything yet. Something I got, and I know we're discussing later, but I still haven't launched yet, is the Hotline Miami collection. But I know that we're discussing that later, so I won't talk too much about that until we get to it. And then, yeah, between that, I suppose I've just been playing things on my computer or whatever. I actually found myself jumping back into RuneScape.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what drew you back to that?
The fact that I could play it on my mobile phone.
Oh, yeah, got the app or whatever.
Well,
did you? Or you're just playing it on your browser? Or
No. You can. They released it on mobile a while ago.
Yeah, because I was going through the App Store at one point, and it was like, RuneScape, RuneScape Classic or something, whatever it's called. I'm like, huh. I'm like looking through the pictures. I'm like, God, that is classic, all right.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's 2007 Scape. That's what it was. But yeah, I suppose it's just good to, if I'm in bed and I've just got something to mindlessly grind on, it's whatever, And then it's like I want to translate that to my computer. I can, maybe not back in the day, but especially these days, it's one of those games where I can just have it sitting on my second monitor while I'm doing things, and I don't have to pay much attention to it. So
yeah.
I guess apart from that, that's pretty much the culmination of what I've been playing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what I've been playing is this is a game I sort of been hearing about here and there, but it's Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I only played the tiniest bit when it initially came out, but sort of the last few months I've been really looking forward to the next iPhone. So I'm like, all right, this year it's going to be the year I update because I want a better camera, I want a bigger screen, etc., etc. And I was in bed and I was looking at sort of the rumors and that for the iPhone 11. I'm like, all right, I sort of want to, I'm sort of in the mood for using my phone, and I'd like to play a game and whatever. And I was looking, I was like, I'll try Animal Crossing Pocket Camp because I'm really looking forward to the next Animal Crossing game. It's been delayed. I was really busting for it, and it's it's going to be a bit longer wait. So and I didn't want to go back to New Leaf because if I start doing that, it's gonna
burn you out.
It's gonna burn me out, and I'm gonna having to start again and all that. So I won't do that. I'll just play something a bit different, which is Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and I really, really, really like it. I'm surprised how much I like it. I played it for 1 week, flat out. I got to level 40 in 1 week. Then sort of the week after, I'm like, I didn't play it anywhere near as much. I sort of logged on each day and got the daily rewards and all that. But I really enjoy how, I guess it's been more gamified.
Yeah.
Because, I mainly played Animal Crossing Wild World on DS. And, I'd go down and fish. I'd sell the fish. I'll donate them to the museum. But, apart from that, it was just collecting the things, and that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
And I played not hundreds of hours, but I played a lot of that game just doing that, and that was enough. In New Leaf, they added more. You could be the mayor and that, but being the mayor didn't really appeal that much to me either.
Right.
But I guess in this, how you've got a level, you can sort of level up your villages level and all that. I really like that, and I like how. I guess each piece of furniture is a playing card. You can use it in the Happy House competitions. You can level up your level for that, and you can give certain villages different types of furniture to sort of up their level. And I just find myself constantly crafting gear just so I can put it in my inventory in case I need it.
Yeah.
And in the normal Animal Crossing games, you'll be like, oh, I don't like that, so I won't get it. But in this, you're like, I just get it all.
Yeah.
Got to eventually come in handy. So every day I'm just going around getting fruit and all that, and it's pretty basic, but yeah, I really enjoy it, and hopefully it keeps me entertained until the next Animal Crossing game. And So the one on Switch, it looks like it's taken some of the crafting elements from this game, which is cool. Because I really like the crafting in it. I think that's really cool.
I was about to say that's exactly what it sounds like. And I mean, I haven't played Pocket Camp because like I like Animal Crossing, but a mobile game isn't enough for me to be like, yeah, I'll invest my time into this.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing that really grabs me about New Horizons in general is that it's more of a build up to, you know, something grander than what Animal Crossing was before. Animal Crossing is just like you move into a village, hooray, you bought a house, hooray, pay your debts, whatever. But obviously now it's like go out, you make your tools, you craft everything you need to make your house, you craft your furniture and stuff like that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's less about finding it and more about self-ingenuity, you know, and that's great, especially with like the resurgence of shit like Minecraft lately, or you know, Terraria having its like final days,
definitely,
type of thing, where people are like, you know, we've run these games to death, and then you know by the time it comes out next year, Animal Crossing, Minecraft probably would have fallen off the rack a bit. People might be looking for something a little more similar to those creative aspects, and there you go.
Yes, like even similar to like Stardew Valley, you know, where you've got relationships and you're doing your farm, and
even Stardew, yeah.
Because like on the DS version, Wild World, you couldn't really do much to your town. You could cut down trees and replant them and stuff, but you couldn't really do too much. And people, I don't know if you remember, but you could like draw designs on the bottom screen and you could paint them on the ground.
Yeah.
And people made like whole cities, like roads and everything. It looked awesome. But you had to have a pretty good creative flair to be able to do that. And I know I didn't, especially when I was like younger.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 3DS version, New Leaf, where you know you're the mayor and you can be like, oh, I'm going to hit this certain goal and I'm going to put a fountain here.
Yeah.
You know, but it's got to be in that very specific spot.
Yeah.
Like you can't like do whatever. But it looks like in the new game you can actually put stuff where you want it and really make that village yours, I guess.
Which is how it should be. You know, especially in like 2020, a game like that, it should have that customizability.
I mean, it would feel weird compared to like all these other games where you can't do it. Because like in Stardew, like, you can do whatever you want, and obviously Minecraft and all that.
Yeah. So I mean, Minecraft's been out for a decade, so it's
yeah. So yeah, this has been a game on mobile I've really, really enjoyed. I said on Twitter that this is one of the first games on mobile I've really enjoyed. And like you jumped out and said, oh, but what about Pokemon Quest? I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. That was a very mobile game. But I guess this was the game where I'm like, oh, I need to play Animal Crossing. I pull out my phone. Where's Quest? I was pulling out my Switch. Where's like,
still a mobile game?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely a mobile game.
Don't beat around the bush. It's a mobile game. That was the first mobile game to grab you. I'm just correcting you. I don't care if it's on your Switch.
All right, I'll take it. As far as microtransactions go, the first day I spent $13 because I played it like most of the day. Actually, going back to why I originally got into it, actually, I was meant to get my wisdom teeth out on the Friday, so I wiped my whole weekend slate just so I was free. So I got the week off, so I can just sit there. I can like heal my mouth and whatever. But I was about to go into hospital and I got a phone call saying your dentist has broken his foot, so don't come in. It's cancelled. So I'm like, all right. So I've got no soccer, I've got no work, I've got no commitments. So I think one day I caught up on some housework, and the next day I think I just sat in bed and watched stuff on my laptop and played Animal Crossing. And at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I'm going to actually spend some money. So I spent $13. I got like 200 Leaf tickets and whatever it was. But that's all I've spent. I've saved up like 700 Leaf tickets now, just because, you know, you get them pretty easily. So the game's not really asking for your money too much. So I respect that. So, because if it was like one of these other games where it's just like, keep spending, I wouldn't be so... I'll be like, nah, chuck it in the bin. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the thing is a lot of Nintendo's mobile properties are pretty good like that. Like, obviously, with with Pocket Camp, obviously, you've made mention enough that they're kind of handing Leaf tickets out to you all the time. Or, you know, Pokemon Go, while it can be a little bit tedious, at times, like, you can pretty much do everything just by walking and doing the usual thing in Pokemon Go. Nothing really restricts you. You kind of only buy the bonuses if you're a desperate, impatient person.
I mean, like, with Pokemon Go, I feel like when I was playing it, I was pretty happy. Like, if there was an event on the Friday night and you and I were going out, and I was quite happy, but all right, here's $5 to give me some boosters for whether they're incense or whatever it is. I was quite happy to do that because the game is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to go, here's the money.
Yeah.
Every now and again, but I feel like these like Candy Crush games where it's like, all right, you need another turn. I'm like, no way, go.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. Go away.
even Dragalia Lost is pretty good in handing out its currency to people and all that stuff as well. So like a lot of Nintendo's properties in general are very good like that. And I think that was kind of just like the thinking after Mario Run. Like, Mario Run obviously didn't do too well because it was $15 app, and nobody wants to pay $15 for an app.
It's free to start.
Free to start.
Says the Nintendo PR marketer person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, spending $15 on it is just sort of like... It feels like a lot at one time.
Yeah.
And whereas, like, if you get invested in something that's free to play, then it becomes more likely that you'll spend money, which is why apps is such a huge market. But Nintendo obviously, even just looking at Mario Run, Nintendo obviously don't want to rip you out of your money, so they keep most of their stuff pretty relatively well priced. The only problem I have with this, as time goes on, Fire Emblem Heroes,
I think that's the only one which is like
getting really it's getting really bad. Like,
I think I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily, and someone wrote in saying, all right, I've just all up, I've spent about $1,500 on Fire Emblem. I think I'm at the point where I'm happy with what I've got. I'm like, if that's the point where it's like, all right, that's where you're happy. It's like, oh, I'm not even going to start.
No, I mean,
not even going to start.
It's good if you just want a unique Fire Emblem story and you don't really care about like all the competitive jibber jabber. But like if you really want to show yourself off as like a professional in Fire Emblem Heroes, a lot of money needs to be spent, and that's not good.
No. I feel like $200. That's pushing it, not thousands. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I guess this is a good point just to jump into Pokemon Masters. Like, this game comes out at the end of this week when the episode goes live.
That's true.
And this is a game I'm looking forward to just because it's Pokemon. I think the way the characters and that are animated looks cool. But I am worried about that gotcha mechanic. I've watched a couple of videos who. People who have had early access to the game, and there was a video where I think it was Poker Tips. He did a video where it's like, what does $100 get you on Pokemon Masters? And it gets you some rolls, and it got him fuck all.
Yeah,
it got him not much. And I'm like, ooh, because I'd really like to play that game. I'd like to give them some money, $50, because usually my idea with these games is like, if I really like the game, I want to spend in microtransactions up to what a full price game would be.
Yeah.
So like, pushing it would be $80, which could get you like the latest and greatest, best $1 million whatever budget game on PlayStation or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, that's pushing it. But if you've got to spend, $200 to $500 to like, get to a good place in the game, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because he was just because you can get duplicates of the trainers, and he got multiple of the trainers up to like 5 stars, because he was like aiming for certain ones, but he just couldn't get those certain ones. And at the end, he's just like, all right, cool. But depends on how you can play that game and just naturally get, I guess, whatever the loot boxes are called.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was also the concern with the Mario Kart Tour beta as well too, though.
I completely forgot about that game.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Well, it went in and had a beta, and then people were like, "Oh, every one of the races has like a special ability, and like that's gonna like affect how you do races and stuff like that. And some characters are better at courses than others and shit like that. And like putting shit like that into a gacha system, in my opinion, is just crappy.
Because I'll be honest with, like, say Animal Crossing, that is a different enough experience, and it's an experience that suits the
It's a personalizable experience,
and it suits the smartphone just really well.
Yeah,
like with Mario Kart, I'm more than happy to like pull out my Switch for that.
Yeah.
Take it with me, put it on the TV. I don't need Mario Kart with all that rubbish in it.
Well, that's the thing, is that Mario Kart is like, without sounding like it's a serious thing, Mario Kart is far more about skill than it is about chance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like,
it's still very much about chance sometimes. But
well, yeah, but like...
It's not in the way that game's setting it up to be like that.
No, exactly, yeah. The main mechanic in Mario Kart Tour is chance. Like, if you don't have the right driver, then...
Literally selecting your driver is chance, let alone
you can
playing
have
the
a
game.
fucking hard time. You're going to have, like, a really hard time, like, just competing on the same level as somebody that's spent, like, $500 on it and has every character.
See, yeah.
You know,
that'll be an interesting one because obviously this game,
it also does not look very fun.
Yeah, like even I forgot about it. So it's been a while where they've just said nothing. Hopefully they've gone back and taken some of this stuff to heart and really put it back into the game.
Yeah, and I mean like, I want to download Pokemon Masters this week and give it a go, but it is a busy week for me. It's my daughter's birthday, my birthday. And we've got...
Everybody, happy birthday to Bryce on
thanks,
the 29th of August.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Everyone, if you're listening to this at that time, send Bryce a nice message on Twitter.
On Twitter. Thank you in advance. But like... obviously, I'm not... I don't reckon I'll have a lot of time to play it this week. So...
It won't be going anywhere, so...
I know it won't be going anywhere, but like...
No, it won't be going anyway, not you.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I said I know it won't be going anywhere, but like, part of me wants to try and make the time for it just so I can be like, okay, I know what Pokemon Masters is trying to get me to do. Like, I don't know how far this game is going to go in terms of like multiplayer aspects or anything like that, or you know how much freemium you're gonna get or anything like that, but hopefully it's not too bad. It is worrying though, because the amount of Pokemon games that have been shit out in the last 5 years on mobile is obviously a lot, and it's got to compete with Pokemon Go in some respects.
Yeah,
if people want to play Pokemon and they're like Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Go, if Pokemon Masters is not like a valid choice for people to be like, I would pick this over Pokemon Go, then I mean it's going to suffer as it is. And especially if it comes down to those roles that you're talking about, who the hell's going to want to play it?
Yeah,
you could just go for a walk and play Pokemon Go and get most of the shit you want guaranteed for free, right? So I really hope that it does sort of sit in that sphere, because I mean we also lost what's it called recently?
Pokemon Duel.
And I liked Pokemon Duel. I thought the figure play game, the figure trading figure game is technically what it's called, was really fun, and I liked that they adapted it to mobile and worked off it like that. And I was really sad to see it shut down, because I did spend a tiny bit of money on it, like not heaps, maybe $20, but it was fun and I enjoyed it for what it was. And it was sad to see that go, but obviously Pokemon Go is such a titan and the money's there and all that, and then like we got Pokemon Rumble on mobile for some reason, and it's not fun and nobody likes it and it's garbage. And yeah, but then obviously Pokemon Quest, people play that on Switch mostly, to be fair. So yeah, now I feel like I'm missing one.
No, doesn't matter. Magikarp Splash, though. You're thinking about?
Yeah, even it could have been Magikarp Splash, but Magikarp Splash was just pure fun. It didn't have to be.
Yeah.
And that was the good thing about it. Yeah. I think over the time in the last 5 years, those 5 games, like we've got so much Pokemon choice on mobile now, and they're all so vastly different. But the problem with apps is it's just like storing all that shit on your phone and then focusing on it every day, because they all have daily logins and quests, and
you've only got so many you can do.
Yeah,
like I mean, I've only got one. I've got Animal Crossing at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm going to eventually get into Dragalia.
Yep,
because I've heard of how much you love the game, and it does appeal to me too. I love the art style and everything.
A lot of people love Dragalia,
and I dare say, in a world, hopefully, I'm going to enjoy Pokemon Masters. So there's 3, which are all Nintendo.
Yeah.
then I might pick up like another random one. So how many of those do you need a day?
Yeah, that's where it gets difficult. Like,
but I have found what I did like about Animal Crossing is I'm listening to a podcast and playing Animal Crossing on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's keeping me off mindlessly scrolling through Twitter or something.
It does, yeah.
And like I'm not being any more productive playing a game on my phone as opposed to just putting my phone down and going outside and trimming a tree or something.
Yeah.
But it does if you are fiddling with your phone, it does sort of keep you just mindlessly looking at Twitter, but
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, I had 2 Dragalia accounts running for a while, and I've put the game down for a little bit now, just to sort of spread myself out a bit and make sure that I'm actually playing other things rather than just my mobile phone all the time. So I've sort of left Dragalia in a little state, and I'll log in when there's an event on or something and have a crack or whatever, but I'm not so dedicated to be like, I'm going to smash this goal, smash this goal, smash this goal. But at the end of the day, like, I was opening 2 Dragalia accounts, and it was keeping me occupied from spending so much time on social media, which, to be honest, like, there was a pit there for a bit before Dragalia come out where I was spending way too much time on it.
I don't know if Android does this, but on iPhone it like keeps track of like all the different categories of like how long you've spent on your phone.
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah.
It would somewhere. But it comes up like Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, and I might have like on like a normal day it might be like 2 hours. I'm like, how the fuck did I find 2 hours to be on Twitter? And it might be just like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. But it's like, it adds up.
And
adds up.
That's the worst part, is you look at that 2 hours and you go, shit, I could have done so many things with those 2 hours. And especially in your case where, you've got to finish Persona 5.
I was about to say. But at the same time, it's not like the PlayStation 4's in my pocket and I'm going to be playing 5 minutes of Persona here and 5 minutes of Persona there.
Yeah, but how much time are you spending on Twitter at home, Drew?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Exactly, I mean, fair enough if you're out and about and you're just like, I feel like opening Twitter and go for a scroll, but when you're home, you could be doing so many things, but the first thing you do is sit on the couch and open your Twitter. It does happen. Like, social media is a killer for time.
Tell you what, you edit the podcasts from now on, and I'll spend my Tuesday and Thursday nights playing Persona. How's that sound? Yeah?
You need to finish Persona and
he won't do it. He won't help me out here, Felix. Will you, Bryce? Come on.
No. You've dragged yourself into this mess now, buddy. You have to finish Persona.
Yeah. I just want to end this sort of mobile discussion on, it is a shame that Mario Run sort of failed and made Nintendo go, okay, we won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I would have much preferred their games coming out being like, $15, here it is. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's Animal Crossing. Okay, here's a Mario Kart. Oh, here's this. Because like $15, it's a lot for an iPhone game, but for a game from Nintendo, it's like nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, while I agree with that as well too, though, I understand why it failed, and
I do too.
That's purely because the app market is just so trudged full of free to play or free to start, and eventually you're going to end up spending money on it anyway, sort of thing. And Mario Run suffered that stagnativity from being, hey, look, $15, you can keep playing, and then it's just like, well, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it doesn't work out for me.
Remember the days on the iPod Touch where it's just like, here's Doodle Jump for $1. You're like, here's a dumb game, here's my $1.
Well, yeah, that's it. And I mean, like...
Now it's like, here's a dumb game, keep putting money into it.
yeah, it's like completely 180'd and turned into a cash cow.
So, next up, what I've been playing is...
Jesus Christ, we're not even through this section yet.
No. This one's going to be a bit quicker. So I've been playing Mario Maker 2. When Mario Maker came out, we were at AvCon and we were busy doing the Patreon and the podcast, my other podcast and everything, and I just didn't get the time to do it. And one thing I've had a problem with the Switch, I know you're less fussy on this, Bryce, but I hate playing 2D games with the buttons on the Switch without a D-pad. It's not ideal. And the D-pad on the Pro controller drives me absolutely nuts because it's just not accurate enough to play some of these faster 2D games. Yeah. Mario's probably fine, but when you're playing like something like Super Meat Boy or just something a bit faster where you've got to rock it back and forward, it just doesn't pick up your directions well enough, and it drives me nuts. So I picked up an 8-bit Do SN30 Pro Plus controller. So if you're not familiar with 8BitDo, they do sort of wireless classic controllers. They've done the SNES controller, which I have, and it's just like it feels exactly the same as one of those controllers, but it's wireless and it works with your Switch and PC and everything. And last year at E3 they announced they're doing a brand new controller. It's basically like an SNES controller, but it's got the sticks, it's got triggers, it's got bumpers, and it's got like handles like a modern controller.
Yeah.
And it's they did a black one based on the North American SNES, and they did one on the Game Boy. And I picked up the one based on the Game Boy Color. It looks really cool with the red buttons and everything.
Yeah.
Nice big D-pad. Has the it feels similar to a DualShock 4 controller. So if you like your sticks together and all that, I'm not too fussed on the positioning of the sticks. I can go PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. I don't really care where the sticks are, but I find the D-pad on the PlayStation controllers up the top feels a lot better than when, on the Xbox or whatever controller it's near the bottom. You got to stretch your thumb down to play it.
Yeah.
So typically I do prefer my sticks together, so my D-pad can be up there. If you're playing Call of Duty or something, maybe you do want your stick up there, but it's just depending on what games you play. So yeah, picked up the controller and it's absolutely fantastic. It actually comes with a custom firmware where you can really modify your controls, what buttons do what and everything. I haven't bothered with that because I haven't needed to. I've just been playing Mario Maker, so that hasn't needed too much customization or anything.
Yeah.
But the controller is absolutely fantastic, and I'd say to anyone who's looking to get one. It's a great retro controller. It works awesome with the Switch, works with PC and everything as well. And yeah, so I started the Mario Maker 2, campaign. I finished it in 2 nights. It's actually really quick. I thought it would take for ages to rebuild the castle, but I just went through the levels and beat it quite easily. And you don't actually have to finish all the levels to complete the castle, which actually surprised me. I got through probably 3/4, and the castle was completed. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I haven't really played many custom levels from different people, and I haven't made any levels myself. I'm gonna dabble with the level creation probably when I've got a bit of free time. But as we're going to talk about later on in the show, there's so many games coming out. So I'm not going to be making any of my levels anytime soon.
Yeah.
And, the levels I'll make wouldn't be too impressive anyway, I dare say. They'll be like, here's the Goomba, here's Bowser, here's another Bowser, here's a million Bowsers.
Yeah. Here's a star to kill them all with. Yep, yeah. You're done.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Actually, and with the controller, I was actually a bit worried because 8BitDo, they were saying, pre-order on Amazon. And Amazon Australia doesn't have it. It wasn't anywhere in Australia. It was just basically America. And I wanted the Game Boy edition, and Amazon would only let me get the black one. I'm like, I don't want the black one. I want the Game Boy one because Game Boys are cool, man.
Yeah. One way to look at it.
Yeah. And it wasn't. I think it was on AliExpress or something. They actually had it where they could ship to us. I'm like, yes. It was $20 cheaper as well instead of $90 through Amazon.
On AliExpress?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was $70. It was free shipping and everything. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really impressed with that. That's all I've got to say. It's an awesome controller, rechargeable, USB-C, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Cool.
I haven't shown you yet, have I?
No, I'll have to have a look at it just before I go.
And just talking about controllers, you've got the GameCube wireless controller.
I love that thing.
Yeah. I want to get one of those too.
It is a beautiful little piece of technology. I know that there have been people that have had problems with them, but PowerA have been really quick to the ball to get them replaced and all that stuff, which is good.
Yeah.
But EB Games have gold and silver ones now and all that stuff, and that's pretty cool.
I don't know what color I'd want because I feel like I've got heaps of black ones. My Smash one's black. I feel like my very first GameCube controller was one I bought off a friend of mine, and it was a silver one. I'm like, would I get the silver one? Was there? You said there's a gold one. Were there ever gold GameCube controllers? Official?
I don't think so.
I don't think there were.
No. I really want an orange one. There's only one person I've ever known that's had an orange GameCube controller, and that's Barry.
Those indigo GameCubes are beautiful. Yeah. Maybe the purple one. The purple one would be cool too, the original color. Yeah.
I had that. I had one of those controllers at one point. It died.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me sad every time. But yeah, no, the PowerA GameCube controller, if you've ever been skeptical, it's a really nice controller. The only downside is that it's not rechargeable, which, so close, type of deal. But
if they put USB-C on that, Because, like, you know, just talking about the controller itself, like, you know, I haven't played with it, but you let me hold yours.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I'm like holding it. I'm like, this feels like a GameCube controller.
It is.
It's just a little clatty clack of the triggers. Yeah. The D-pad's like a bit bigger and better. Mm-hmm. Like, it's better than the original GameCube controller.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it's just, if they put USB-C on it,
it'd be perfect.
Just wonderful.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So close.
Be. Absolutely. Yeah, so close in everything.
I would have paid an extra $30 just for rechargeable USB-C.
Yeah,
PowerA.
I feel that. Yeah,
just because if PowerA's out there and they're like, oh, you know, we wanted to save the extra $1 a unit, so overall we save like $500,000 on production. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I would have paid you the extra for it. I would like,
yeah, I would have paid you extra and what it would have cost you for the production. But in saying that it does have its uses being non-rechargeable as well. In that, you know, if you're running out of batteries, you go, oh shit, I'll just swap out the batteries. You know, which is good.
Well, actually. Yeah, talking about that, like be able to swap out batteries for this this SN30 Pro Plus controller. It comes with a rechargeable battery, but you can actually take that rechargeable battery out and just use AA's as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So if your battery, for whatever reason, like in multiple years, like, oh, this rechargeable battery is useless now, it's dead, throw it away, just use batteries.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's not a feature on like the DualShock or the Pro controller or anything. Yeah. Like you can't do that. So it's a really impressive feature for that as well.
Yeah. But it's also while it is a really very accurate standard feeling GameCube controller, it does come with all the buttons necessary to play literally any Switch game as well. So that includes a second bumper button, which obviously the GameCube controller didn't have. It has home and share. It has everything, and in clickable sticks, which the GameCube didn't have.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, it has literally everything it needs to be a Pro controller. So, like, if you're like, you know, I feel like using a GameCube controller, whether it be for Smash or Mario Kart or whatever the hell you feel like, it's a pretty good controller as well.
Have you played any games? Because you know how the GameCube controller is basically made.
Its layout's weird. Yeah,
its layout's weird for like, you know, just third party games. Have you like sat down and played something like I don't know, for example, Doom or whatever game it is, where it's like, this feels weird playing with a GameCube controller?
It does, but I think it's mainly because because of that A button. the A button is the big. It's a huge design thing when it comes to the GameCube controller. Is the A button is just massive. You know what I mean? And A is not all important and all encompassing. A lot of ports, for example, which I mean, this always pisses me off anyway. But because Nintendo's layout is so different.
It's reversed for the others.
It's completely reversed. So it's just sort of like,
well, the others are reversed. Nintendo's is the correct way. The others came around later, so theirs is reversed.
Yeah, all right.
No, I'm only joking. Obviously, it's the industry standard for the other way now. Yeah, just because everywhere else does it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm only joking. Don't break my balls.
I will. I'll break.
No, I'm just talking about anyone listening. Don't break my balls.
But so
Phil Spencer out there going, nah, fuck him, Drew. The Xbox is right.
But like ports really suffer because they go under the impression that, if people have played this on Xbox before, they're going to be used to pressing this button in this position.
Yeah.
So they don't change where the buttons are in the layout, and that does cause confusion because it's like, oh, hey, instead of jump is A now, it is B now because of the reversed order on the Switch, right? It's
like Crash Team Racing, B is accelerate.
Yeah.
It breaks my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, because Team Sonic Racing, was it L, or the back trigger is accelerate, like most racing games these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Crash, it's B. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the situation where the GameCube controller gets hindered, because it's like, hey, it's B, the smallest button on that thing. So, I mean, in situations like that, it's kind of annoying. But if you're literally just looking to play like Mario or Zelda or
Nintendo game,
Smash Bros, like it's intended for, or Mario Kart, you know, stuff like that, it's great for. And I mean, it's just a good addition to your lineup, even if you're like, I have a controller, I would really like a GameCube controller and a second controller so that people can play with. And then, you know, you've got a Pro controller, a GameCube controller. If somebody comes around and it's like, what would you prefer to use, this one or this one? Then you can just use the opposite. It's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah. Because I dare say I'll end up with one eventually.
They're great.
And like, I guess it's like the Wii days where you've got so many controllers for just one system.
Yeah.
Like with my PlayStation, I've got, 3 controllers? It's all exactly the same, just different colours.
Yeah.
Whereas, same with the Xbox. And with the Switch, it's like the Pro Controller, the Joy-Cons, the SN30 Pro Plus, and a wireless GameCube controller, and a wired GameCube controller.
Different controllers for different situations, I think, is the moral of the story. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're not going to whip out the... You're not going to whip out... If you have the option, you're not going to whip out the SN30 or the Pro Controller for Smash Bros. You're going to go to the GameCube controller. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to play your classic games, obviously you'll go to your SN30. Or if you just want like something that's good enough for Breath of the Wild and has a good battery life, Pro Controller.
Well, just like the Pro Controller, it's an awesome feeling controller. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
Except for no headphone jack and an awful D-pad.
Yeah.
And the awful D-pad is like a pretty glaring issue for a Nintendo controller, but
it is, yeah. But
yes, I will. We're going to do. I bought another controller to fix it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, Bryce, let's talk quickly about the Indie World highlights that happened at Gamescom. I don't want to go over every single game. There's been other podcasts, and you can go and look at the video, and there's lots of things you can do to sort of take this in. Mm-hmm. But did you watch this to start off with?
No.
You haven't watched it? So this is going to be basically me.
Look, yeah, it is, yeah. But I mean, I was paying attention to the news at the very least, so I do know. Yeah. I do know what was in there, but I did not like follow in on the hype and everything.
Well, I dare say you've seen probably these games I've listed anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll start off with one of the, I guess, most exciting ones, just from, I guess, terms of the game itself and sort of the relationship blossoming, is Ori and the Blind Forest coming to Switch,
which is beautiful,
which is an obvious one to come from Microsoft for the Switch.
And it's a perfect fit. You know, it's great. Ori is a very beautiful game.
It's one of those games where it's like, oh, that's going to come eventually, surely. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And here it is. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you'll be picking it up? Because I know it's free on Game Pass. And
I probably will pick it up on Switch.
You will pick it up on Switch?
I reckon I will. Yeah. Yeah, I reckon I will. Because, like, the thing is like, having these games free on Game Pass and stuff like that, you would think for me, a father of two who has to provide for his family, that'd be like, I'll take the free option. But to be completely honest with you, something being free does not give me a lot of drive to play it.
I'm the exact same way. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's actually a real killer for me. Unless I'm really interested in a game, I can just be like, if I know it's free, I'll just go back to it literally any time. I'm not like, all right, I just spent my money on this, I'm going to get my money's worth out of it. It's like, it was free, so
to motivate yourself, you're going to buy it.
Yeah,
and obviously
because I want to play Ori.
Yeah, and obviously handheld mode and that is ideal for that too.
It's like an ideal game for the Switch. So I'd love to buy it for that.
Because I bought it on Steam when it was like $11 a year or so ago on sale.
Yeah,
I'm like, I never touched my computer for games really. So I just bought it because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to support these guys. And I have been meaning to get to it on Xbox, but it's a similar thing on Xbox.
It's free. You don't have the motivation.
I was playing a Lucky's Tale the other day because Super Lucky's Tale coming to Switch, one of the exclusive games coming from Xbox over to Nintendo. I'm like, oh, let's see what this game's all about. I like platforms. It's a nice, cute looking thing. And I go to the first world and I jump onto a platform, and I go through the platform and I get stuck in the platform. I'm like, all right. So all I can do is walk around this platform and jump, and I cannot get through it. I'm like, I turned off the Xbox. I'm like, cool. And that was actually the last time I played the Xbox. I'm like, oh, cool. That's a fun game. Super Lucky's Tale. Hopefully the super means no glitches. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ori and the Blind Forest. Awesome. It's coming to Switch. This one was announced at a event a few months ago now, but it's coming out very soon. Creature in the Well. So this is like a top-down sort of dungeon crawling, Zelda dungeon inspired sort of game where you're
with pinball mechanics.
With the pinball mechanics.
Yeah. We talked about this, back when it was first shown. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really awesome, and it's coming out very soon. I don't have the date here, but I saw on the eShop it's actually got 10% off if you pre-order, and it's $22 Australian. And like, $22 Australian, that's actually a bit cheaper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be about 30.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to pick that up. I might pre-order it very soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that one. Now, Bryce, this one's this one's pretty relevant for the Australian listeners. So Hotline Miami collection, it came out very briefly here in Australia. If you're in America, you've got all the time in the world to buy this one. Take your time, let it marinate. But if you were here in Australia, you had to pounce on it quick as anything.
Oh yeah, you did.
Devolver Digital, we're lucky enough that they look after us with codes for their games.
They do,
like they do for many small creators.
Yes,
in sort of our community.
Yeah,
and they reached out and said, "Oh, would you like a code for the Hotline Miami collection on Switch?" And I said,
and I smacked that yes button.
Yeah, and I did too. And I did that before work. I think about 10 o'clock. Yep. Or something, I would have got the code. I'm like, oh, awesome! Like Hotline Miami. I had the original game on PlayStation Vita, and just those games are just perfect for handheld systems.
Yep.
Let alone now, on the Switch, you've got the bigger screen and the more robust sort of thumbsticks to actually really get into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got that about 10 o'clock, and I had soccer training that night. I got home about 8 that night, and I think you said to me like, oh, Jono's having trouble with his code because. For those that don't know, this Hotline Miami 2 was banned in Australia. Not the first one, but the second one for drug references. I haven't played the second one because it was banned here. So I think it was because you use it to get your health back or something. You've got a positive effect from drugs.
Yeah.
Because the Australian rating board absolutely hates drugs used in positive lighting. If you took drugs and it hurt you, they wouldn't care.
Like what happened with the what was it? Was it the DayZ thing or something?
DayZ, yeah.
How it was just like, oh,
smoke marijuana to get your health back.
Smoke marijuana as a painkiller, and then it was just like, oh yeah, well it's banned, and now they've had to revert the entire fucking thing just to keep
globally,
the game.
yes,
just
nuts.
to keep the game going. Way to make us look like dickheads. I can't even say your name right because I'm so angry. Classification board. Well, that's so stupid.
Just like chuck an R rating on it. So people over 18 can play it, and if someone gets influence from that game to do drugs, they're idiots.
Do you think we're children like that? Yeah. It's like you're 18, you're still a child, mate. You can't touch them drugs. I've known people that have been doing drugs since they were 14.
Oh well, that's not a good thing.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that it happens a lot earlier than the age of 18 anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think playing a video game is going to be the major influencing thing for people to go out. It's like,
no.
Hey, it's just like, I was one of those lucky people to get Hotline Miami collection. It's just like, sit down and play it. It's like 15 hours later. It's like, well, that was fun. I think I'll go out and buy some crack cocaine. It doesn't happen like that, guys.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. I was so close to installing it.
That's the thing is that I got the code.
So, what time did you...
5 o'clock, I think it was.
Yeah, okay.
And it was about an hour after it was just gone.
Yeah, just gone off the eShop.
So I smashed that yes. I was up in Mount Gambier. I got the code. I'm like, cool, I've got Hotline Miami collection. I'm like, I better jump on that shit ASAP because...
See, that was my problem. I was just like, oh, this is weird that Hotline Miami 2 was approved.
Yeah.
I'm like... Oh, well, I guess it is.
Yeah.
I should have been a bit more onto all the bullshit we get in Australia as far as classification. Yeah.
Well, yeah, see, that was my thing, is it's just like, well, if this is released here, I don't know how long that's going to be for, and considering the news that's all just happened with DayZ, the classification board are and I mean, obviously, we've already had people in Parliament talk about it. Like, did you catch that?
No, I haven't. No.
There was a guy in Parliament that literally said, "We have an R18 for a reason. R18 rating for a reason. You've literally just made us look like a laughing stock by screwing DayZ over and making them revert their entire update for their game."
Yeah, and let's be honest. Smoking weed, weed. It's like, yeah. Who cares?
You're not. Your character is not lining up a nice big line of fucking crack on the table for you to snort and then have hallucinogenic effects and then all that. It doesn't happen.
That's how you get the mech in Fortnite.
But it was just sort of like, all right, I'm gonna do this as soon as I get home. As soon as I got home, I had Sword Art in my hand and I had my phone. I'm like, put Sword Art down. I'm like, code now, put it in, got it. Look on Twitter, Jono's like, my code's not working. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. See,
that's it.
And you messaged me, and I like got home, and I think I got home, I sat down. I was probably, going back to before, wasting time on Twitter.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah. Then you buzz through saying, hey, did your code work? I'm like, oh, I haven't put it in yet.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So the after effect is you didn't get Hotline Miami, even though you've got a perfectly working code for it.
Yeah.
And then I have. It's on my Switch. It's downloaded. It just, for some reason, like the classification board just makes them even look even more like idiots. They didn't even realize their mistake. Like even after the DayZ controversy, it's like, can't smoke weed. It's like Hotline Miami collection. What's that? Oh, I guess we'll just approve it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how it got through, because I guess it's a collection and it just snuck through because it wasn't just called the same thing.
I'm surprised their flags didn't just light up red when they heard the words Hotline Miami. That makes no sense to me.
Collection with the second one that was banned in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Hotline Miami, like you guys banned that, and it was like controversial when you banned it. Like a lot of things you banned.
It just shows how flippant and how much attention they don't pay.
Oh, absolutely.
But how hard they are on the bans as well at the same time.
They're so stupid.
Because a lot of the time it just takes like another appeal, and it goes through. It's like, oh, so what did they do that time? So sometimes it's not much or anything at all.
I guess Devolver just put it in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's been accepted." Devolver just like, "All right, nobody tell them."
You can imagine what they'll be like at Devolver, just like I
love Devolver.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we have a contact in Devolver. Oh, I love those guys, but it's just sort of like, well, it's so depressing because I know a lot of people within our group got a code. Even Ashley Hobley put out like ages before it even got banned. It's just like, how long is it going to take for this to get banned? And I'm like, well, they can suck my dick because I've got it now. So they're not taking it back now.
It would have been under 12 hours.
It was about 12 hours.
It's good to know the people running the show over there, can react that quick to that, but not other things going on in Australian society.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And to that hero in Parliament, like just as a cap off,
could they have left it a week? Seriously, let us buy it and then ban it. To that hero, just sort of cap off the discussion. To that hero in Parliament that called them out for being. Don't have his name.
No, I cannot remember it. But you will be able to find a video on it. It's basically just a guy ragging on the classification board.
John Howard?
No, it was not John Howard.
It would not be John Howard. Yeah,
it's absolutely not John Howard. If he really stood up and basically said, "You're making us look like a bunch of fools. We have an R18 rating. Use it to its effect. If people are going to go out and buy drugs, it's not because of a video game under the R18 rating. It's because they want drugs. They've gone and bought the drugs because they want drugs. Their influence is not going to change because of a video game. End of story." And he basically just said, "You've just made us look like another laughing stock all over again."
Yeah, because I don't do drugs. I've never had interest in doing drugs. Playing Hotline Miami would not make me want to do drugs.
No, that game, holy crap!
Even if I played Hotline Miami, I'm like, oh, I've got to do some drugs after this game. I'm way too much of a tight ass for drugs. Like,
how expensive are drugs in Australia? Like,
just ridiculous. And I'm saying that as someone so naive. I've got no idea how much I would pay for drugs. But
they're not cheap.
I would imagine they're not cheap.
Like a decent amount of weed, I suppose, alone, and weed is the most common drug you're going to come across. That's like $300, and that might last you maybe a week and a half if you're a decent avid smoker. It's like the thing is just
house of chuff,
the house of chuff,
the house of puff,
the house of puff and chuff. There we go. But it is literally just an absolute joke that we have this rating that just brings in no effect. Hotline Miami would not ever make me want to do crack cocaine. The game is creepy enough on its own, the animal masks and all that shit, and people being like, just fucking murder this guy.
I like how you immediately go to, it wouldn't make me do crack cocaine, but it might make me want to make me pop an extra Panadol here and there, but
Oh yeah, pop the extra Panadol. That's really going to get me chuffing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, it's a chuffing. But
can't feel my fingers.
I have played plenty of games with drugs involved before, and the thing is like
It's not a good example, though. You're a raving drug addict.
Oh, I'm such a raving drug addict.
All that RuneScape you've been playing.
And the thing is
how much rocks have you been
There are a lot of games that get through that barrier, and then they're just like, they have this drug in this game that has like no relevance to the real world, but it's still heavily implied. Like in Skyrim, would they? In Elder Scrolls in general, they have a giant drug epidemic around skooma. It's huge, and it has effects on your character when you have it and stuff like that. Like, it fucks with your stats and sometimes your visuals and does weird shit. Like, stuff like that in there. But because it's not called cocaine, it's all of a sudden not allowed in Australia.
Mm. Yeah, it is very frustrating being Australian. And, like, it comes up on, like, you know, other shows, other people covering it in the games industry.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes up saying, oh, you know, this game's banned in Australia. And every single time it's got, like, you know, the person, you know, puts their hands down the table, puts down their show notes on the table and go, come on. And they're just like, come on, Australia. What are you doing over there? Something so stupid. And we're like, well, no, we agree, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. We fought long and hard for that R18 rating. It literally took years. And everybody was campaigning, signing petitions, all that shit. Active involvement all over the internet, trying to get this pushed. We get the R18 rating, we cheer in victory, only to get censored anyway.
Yeah.
And it's for the dumbest things, you know? So, But, I mean, if you want to go ahead and...
like Katana Zero, like that got banned.
That was ridiculous.
That got banned as well. And, like, it eventually... came out
re-emerged,
It re-emerged like 2 months later, and it came out in the eShop, and it's still going. So obviously they worked out whatever problems there were. But if that game didn't come out, that game is absolutely fantastic. That would have been such a shame if we couldn't play that here, because like, you know, I got it months after you know, it came out in the rest of the world. So I played through. I didn't get to finish it, but I'm still going through it. But
yeah,
you know, I played through like a fair few levels. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This is really addicting, and it's just there's an awesome story there and everything. And just for the fact, like, oh, you know, it's got this in it. It's such a shame. Just these games, you just get banned here. It's just ridiculous.
And it's just the most like irrelevant thing ever. To be completely honest with you, it's no different to like, oh, hey, look, I'm gonna go into a bar in a video game and get drunk as piss. And, you know, there's a whole mission in Red Dead 2 where the entire mission is you going out and having a drink with Lenny. And eventually the whole night just gets fucked up. You're looking for Lenny around the bar, you're stumbling around everywhere in first person, you're like, Lenny! You turn a woman around and she's like in this bustier with Lenny's face and shit. And then like, you have Arthur's going line dancing in the bar or whatever, and then he goes outside and punches a guy, and then you get chased by the cops and shit. It's like, so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
that game would be so big they would never find it in there though.
No, it's a main mission.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, like, they've got to disclose all that, don't they? Like, oh, it's got this nudity bit, it's got this and that. You know.
Well, they do have to disclose all that, but yeah, I mean, like, it's just sort of in the same way. Like, you're going under the presumption that that scene in particular is there to make you go and drink a shit ton of alcohol. That is not the case. It is there to make you laugh. You know what I mean? Just as like somebody smoking weed's like, well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, medicinal marijuana is used around the world as a painkiller. I guess so. Yeah. You know, it's like, shit. Come on, man.
I mean, I guess this is way off topic now, but as far as like weed goes, I've never been interested in like doing weed or whatever. But as far as like, you know, its benefits, you know,
there are plenty.
There's a lot of them.
Just saying, there's plenty. And censoring a game for using weed's kind of stupid.
You know, and we've got a friend who suffered of a pretty ordinary and life debilitating disease. He's like, you know, most of his life.
Yeah,
and marijuana helps him a lot.
Yeah, so, like short disclosure, I suppose he had Crohn's.
Yeah,
and he quit his medication because he literally just started using marijuana, and it was bettering his life just by using it. Not saying it as a promotion, like, hey, you can go and smoke weed, but I'm saying like, there's positive benefits to it. It's not like the devil's lettuce, as its term was given a long time ago.
So I remember in high school, like, oh, you know, keep away from drugs, and obviously, like, there are drugs where it's just like, no way don't touch, you'll ruin your life. And you know,
absolutely not.
In experience, you've seen that in some acquaintances from high school or whatever it might be, where you're like, oh, dude, I feel so sorry for you, but that's the path you unfortunately chose. But marijuana, it's like,
yeah, I know so many chill people on marijuana that are not the problem.
It's the same as alcohol. If you rock up to work and you've had a couple of beers and you're a bit slower and ditzy and all that, it's like, no, what, dude, go home. You can't drink. It's the same with marijuana. Don't smoke. But if you go home and have a smoke and all that, it's fine. I feel anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we were the last state in the country to make it illegal because our soil's so good for growing it. So,
you always bring it up. I love that. So our soil's just so good. We've got good soil down here in South Australia.
It is really good soil
in the southeast.
It's really good for growing hemp. Like, it just is, I guess. And like a lot of people are bewildered when I bring up that fact. I'm like, it's true.
People who know that I'm a farmer, they're going to be asking the question, and I'm going to say, no, I don't grow marijuana.
We're going on some really good tangents here. I like this.
Yeah, it's a really weird tangent.
But so.
Have we ever discussed such a mature topic?
No. I
reckon we're talking about drugs.
We should probably leave it for Cracking Furfies. We'll talk about it.
I thought you were about to say something else.
We'll talk about censorship on Cracking Furfies or something. I feel like that'd be a good topic. But I guess the moral of the story is
don't do hard drugs.
Don't do hard drugs because Hotline Miami isn't here to influence you now. So I guess you can't do hard drugs now.
No, well, even actually, it's a real shame too because the first one that would be fine. Release that, but it's because they're together. The first one gets bundled off as well.
From what I understand, I think they're still intending to release the first one on the eShop. So they'll sort something out. They'll put the first one out on the eShop instead, so people can actually still play Hotline Miami. They haven't actually officially commented on it yet, but I think that was the case.
Because like I said before, I haven't played the second one, but from what I heard, the first one is the better game. From what I heard,
and that's fine.
I haven't played the second one, but yeah,
and that is fine. But I'd still like to play the second.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm glad I got the collection.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
And they can't take it from me now. I'm gonna go stand in front of Parliament with my Switch up in the air. I'm like, take this from me, you fuckers.
So they do.
They probably would. Too. John Howard comes out himself, so I'll have to confiscate that. Thanks.
See, John Howard probably has it on his Switch too. So.
I love how we just reference John Howard when he's been retired for years.
How many years has it been at this point? 15?
Yeah, roughly so.
Yeah.
I think it was just that figurehead from our childhood. We were like, John Howard.
Well, the thing is, John Howard, I guess he was the first Prime Minister I really remember.
Oh, yeah, true.
And when I went to Canberra...
I met John Howard and shaked his butt.
I did not shake his butt. I shook his hand. Thank you very much. No, I didn't get to shake his hand. But... On Facebook, I was like, doing pictures. I'm like, oh, where's John Howard? Haha, doing like the whole thing. And people were like, oh, funny Drew, whatever people commented. I'm like, oh, I found him. It was like a picture in Parliament House of John Howard. They've got all the prime ministers from obviously throughout Australian history. Yeah. And there's John Howard nicely painted there. And that was very exciting.
Off tangent.
Yeah.
Jade was held by Ernie Dingo as a baby?
No.
Yeah. Ernie Dingo thought she was thought she was an Aboriginal baby because of the colour of her skin at the time.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So she was a baby held by Ernie Dingo on an episode of on an episode of something that they were doing that he was doing at the time. I can't remember what it was.
Does she have it?
No. But Ernie Dingo almost took her away, and
Ernie Dingo took my baby.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting story that gets thrown around the table from time to time. It's really, really strange. But yeah. Anyway, while we're not talking about figureheads, let's move.
Yeah, so talking about video games, Bryce. Also, I got 5 games for the Indie World highlights, and we took forever just to get through the one of them, which is fine. I like it. It's fun.
It's a controversial topic.
Yeah, so Super Hot, Bryce, coming to Switch. It's out now. Awesome.
Beautiful, Super Hot. Yeah, but the problem with Super Hot is it's very much a VR experience, I think. Like, I'm not saying that you can't play it outside of VR. It's definitely, obviously, a cool concept outside of VR.
Well, it came obviously, out of... The first game wasn't the VR version.
No, and yes, like that's what I mean. But I feel like nowadays that you have the VR version, it's definitely the definitive way to play it. Yeah,
because like me with the PSVR and access to the normal game on Game Pass, and I've got lots of options for this game.
Yeah.
Definitely the PSVR is the option where I'm like, yes, I want to play it on VR.
Yeah, but the thing is for me as well, is like I'm actually highly considering saving up and putting money in investment into a Vive.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'm like, now that I've actually investigated it, and the prices for Vive are dipping. They're like $850 for the basic kit now.
Yeah,
which is like
opposed to like $1,300 or whatever it was. Yeah,
which is what the Pro kit is now. And I understand that's still more expensive than PSVR and all that shit, but
you pay for what you get.
That's exactly right.
What you get.
Vive is the best kit on the market, and it also allows for the most modularity, being a PC kit.
Yeah,
you can use it for a hell of a lot more things than you can a PSVR.
I just got the question, Bryce. Obviously, the Vive, you need like a nice area to put up your cameras and everything, so you can move around and move your controllers. Your PC is currently set up in the kitchen.
Yeah,
your kitchen table is like.
I have thoughts. Don't worry.
Behind you.
It is not going to sit exactly how it is. I've got ideas. It'll probably still be in the kitchen, but I'll just give myself enough room so that we have a very light dining table, so I can just move it out the way if I want to play VR. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, I can imagine like Jade's cooking dinner, she's like, she's got the pasta, she's like, flipping it, she's getting the whole action going, and there you are, you're playing Skyrim, you're going, oh, and you got the music playing, dun 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 dun, and like you knock the pan out of her hand, and you scold her back with all the noodles.
Oh God. Yeah, beautiful thoughts. I actually, one quality of life thing that really shifted my mind around was the camera. The camera in the headset now. So like you can hit a button on your Vive controller. You can go, whoop, oh cool! I can just take a drink. I can see what I'm actually fucking
the viewfinder.
doing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Beautiful.
And it's like the Oculus Quest, where it's got like no wires or anything. It's just the unit itself.
Yeah,
and that's got like the 360 cameras around it. That looks really cool.
Yeah, and
I was thinking like, because I wasn't like super excited for VR, but I just wanted to try it and experience. So that's why I got the cheaper PSVR kit.
Yeah.
$300, and I spent like $100 on the Move controllers because I couldn't find them secondhand anywhere around me. So I just spent $120 on bloody 2009 PlayStation Move controllers. Fuck my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy Beat Saber and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, I want to have that. I want to have Beat Saber. Like Jay's like, are you actually going to use that though? I'm like, to be completely honest, the reason I want a Vive and not a PSVR is because I want Beat Saber, but I want all the fucking custom music,
custom songs. Yeah, man.
That'd
be awesome.
That's what I want it for. I want it for Beat Saber, and then even VR chat, because VR chat's just fucking hilarious.
Just dumb, yeah. It's
funny. Just dumb and funny shit, you know, like just even shit like that, and then just to experience all the cool shit that comes out in VR as it comes. I think is my main draw. And like going back to Super Hot, that is one of those experiences that also ramped up the scene alongside Beat Saber and stuff. Is that once Super Hot hit VR?
Sorry, I could just. Where my mind's going is, all right, we're talking about VR. So what about if on Nintendo Switch you could play Super Hot in Labo VR?
No, that'd be awful.
And this is what I'm imagining. You know how it's got no way of actually attaching it to your face? You've actually got to hold it to your face.
Yeah.
So what you do is you put the Switch on the table, you put your face on the table, and you use the Joy-Cons as the motion controllers, but you're just like beating the table with your head on the ground. He's got like multiple people like playing it on Vive, looking like, articulate, doing the motions, moving around the enemies. Then there's the Switch player just banging the table.
But you forgot that you also have to add in the microphone features where you have to scream super hot every time you want to go through a phase transition. Yeah. So you're like banging your hands on the table with your head on the table. You're like, super hot!
So yeah, look forward to the VR version coming to Nintendo Labo.
Play it, yeah.
I'd play that.
I would not.
No, I don't feel
I would not play that. I did. Speaking of Labo VR, though, I did talk to. I showed you a screenshot, and Louisa, if you're listening, I was talking to you. She had she messed around with the Zelda VR and stuff like that, and she said it's not too bad, but it does get a bit jarring.
I heard bad things about Zelda, mediocre things about Mario Odyssey,
and Smash is also very jarring.
Yeah,
as well. Like it's called a view, but not.
Captain Toad sounds like a good idea, and that sounds like a pretty logical game to put in the VR. Just for like the view.
Yeah.
Just
because it's like a little game. Like it's not. Yeah.
So it's all just a bit of a gimmick, really. Just adding it in, but yeah. So and last of all, just for our little I guess the games that stood out to me was Torchlight 2. This wasn't, how old is this game?
Very old now.
Yeah, it's very old. But I guess, I've been wanting to sort of get Diablo 3 on Switch, but it's always been like, I think the cheapest it's been is $60.
68, I think, is the
cheapest.
I've
something
seen
like that.
it.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend that much. So I'm not that worried. But Torchlight 2, I'm like, oh, this is coming now. That's, it's a Diablo-like game, and it's probably going to be cheaper than that, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So, but if it can hit like that 30-40 price point, that'd be good.
That'd be nice. But
if it doesn't, well, I won't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not holding my... hold my butt cheeks, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that. Where you're holding, I'm not holding my 50-kilo salmon or anything. Posing for a photo.
Not holding my giant yellowfin tuna or anything.
I'm not posing at the fishing comp for nothing here. In front of my boat with my mate Steve.
Where are we? Where are we going with this episode?
I don't know. This is fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
Okay, I know we didn't address it at the start, but that's what happens when we take a week off.
Yeah, fuck me. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, God.
It's fun for us.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Fun for us, at least.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody's going to be listening to it. And they're like,
I know the problem. It's these bloody extra pale ales you got us. After playing Hotline Miami, did you put drugs in these?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yes.
You've caught me. Hotline Miami.
That's why it's all this grass coming out of it. Just chewing on this moist weed.
Why is there an entire hive of bees in my can?
Hive of bees. There's a video on Facebook where there's like a swarm of bees that's just on this guy's butt. And he had to,
oh, God, yeah.
Because the queen bee landed on his butt, so all the worker bees.
Oh,
that sucked.
Yeah, no. Holy shit, no. I did see that video. No, screw that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Killer Queen Black here, so let's move on.
Oh, where is that game as well? Where is Killer Queen Black?
Who cares?
I care.
I do not care at this point.
That's going to be a great multiplayer game.
It was at PAX last year.
It was at PAX, yeah.
It was at PAX last year. It's not anywhere to be seen.
And
I've given up.
And we played like just 2-player, and it doesn't really work 2-player.
It does not just only work 2-player.
We need you need at least 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on, Bryce. So recently, the Pokemon World Championships 2019 have been.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
And I guess I just want to congratulate. So Henry Brand won the TCG Masters division.
Beautiful.
He is a fellow Aussie, so congratulations to him.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't follow the TCG, the trading card game, at all.
Yeah, I'm not big on the TCG scene.
Because, personally, when I was a kid, I loved the illustrations, like many people out there who got the cards did.
I just think they're neat.
Yeah, exactly. That meme was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't really comment too much on his excellent plays, but fantastic. And I see it like a fair few Australians are actually play second, and they're in there. They're amongst it.
Oh yeah, there's a huge TCG community in Australia. And, you've got YouTubers that are huge in it, like Max Mofo and all that stuff, doing Pokemon cards and swearing and throwing big nuts everywhere.
Throwing big nuts everywhere.
Throwing big nuts. The big nut.
Yeah.
The big nut.
Because I wanted to catch more of the video game championships, but I was watching it, I think, late at night, and they were just doing the pre-show stuff, talking about what was going to be, and then it got late and I went to bed, and I missed most of it just because of the time difference. Obviously, with it being in I think it was Washington in America, so the time difference is just complete opposite. So I haven't caught up on it yet, but I really I absolutely love how sort of the competitive Pokemon scene really sort of gets together and shows off how well Pokemon can be played.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah.
Because I'm certainly, at least not yet, capable of playing that higher play. And sometimes some years it is a bit boring because back in the Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby days, how every team had a Kyogre and a Rayquaza, or a Groudon and a Rayquaza, and that was just they just countered each other.
Yeah.
So the whole meta was revolving around that.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Sun and Moon, it sort of moved a bit away from that. You're limited to 2 legendary Pokemon, so there's always going to be 2 legendary Pokemon, and that's still usually a very popular option is Groudon, Kyogre, or Rayquaza still. Then there's Xerneas and I think what's that cloud trio called? I always forget them.
Thunderous, Landorus, and Tornadus.
Yeah, so they're pretty popular options. So there's like popular options in there, but
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to next year. I'm really looking forward to sort of getting a team going in what's it called, Sword and Shield, and seeing the competitive scene, like the first year taking on the new games. So looking forward to that.
Hopefully.
And I didn't actually see this before I was looking up sort of news articles for the show, but this is from Nintendo Enthusiast, and the article reads, Pokemon World Championship Trophy immediately breaks on stage. And just before reading the actual article itself, it's just got the screenshot they use is this kid looking bewildered, and this lady holding this broken cup with this broken Pikachu in front of him. So it's like, oh, well, you can imagine what you'd be like, you've just like risen to this huge height, you're a little kid, you've achieved your dream, you've become the very best, and the bloody Pokemon company, they're about to release Pokemon Masters, they're going to get all your microtransactions, they've got all that money, but they still do a little flimsy cup for you.
I don't know whether this is karma.
Karma? For what? For the kid?
No. Like, this trophy breaking on stage, just a Pikachu breaking away from the cup. Think about the symbolism in that.
I don't want to think about symbolism because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, I'm not being negative. I just think it's funny.
So, the article reads, it's tough to be so close to victory, only to come in second place. Normally, a trophy is a nice consolation prize, letting you know that it is still worth the effort. Not this time, however. The Pokemon World Championship was held this weekend, and the Junior Division final match saw, I'm just going to say his last name, is Miyamoto. His last name is Miyamoto. There you go. I'm not going to say his first name because I'm going to butcher it. Miyamoto as the victor. He's left Isaac to collect the second place trophy. It then proceeded to fall apart at the moment he touched it.
Poor kid. Poor kid.
So not only he didn't actually win, he got second place, and when he got the trophy, it broke.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. I feel bad now.
That's really upsetting.
The trophy featured Pikachu holding a smaller trophy. However, the smaller trophy tumbled right off, as if it was never attached at all. Poor kid. Still, he's at least a better TCG player than I'll ever be. Which, of course, he's way better than us because I've never played the TCG in my life, except for being like, I'm going to play the game. What's an energy card? Don't worry about them. When you're like 5.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned the basic rules. I think that's enough.
Oh yeah, you put the energies, you do the attack, HP goes down, super effective does a bit more, etc., etc. I know how Pokemon works. Put some energies in there, right. Evolves, awesome. Yeah,
pretty much. So
yeah, poor kid. So let's move on to the Pokemon Sword and Shield news, Bryce. So
you have a quick squiz in it, yeah.
Have a quick squiz. Now, this trailer actually happened a little while ago, so you might have forgotten. But this was at the very start of the World Championships. They announced some just small little details for the games themselves. And the first one is Galarian Weezing's new ability. I don't know if it's just his second ability or if it's a secret ability or what it is, but it's neutralizing gas. And what this ability does is it neutralizes every ability on the field. So if you send out your Gyarados and it's got Intimidate, that ability will be neutralized. It will not lower attack. It will also neutralize abilities that are bad, that inhibit the Pokemon. So for example, like Slacking, he's got the ability that only lets him attack every second turn.
Truant.
Yeah. So that's basically there to balance him, so he won't.
Regigigas' slow start.
Yeah. So it can just neutralize those abilities, and you've got these hugely powerful Pokemon that can just not be
they're
prohibited.
Not hindered at all. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is obviously this isn't going to really impact jack shit in single battles, but when it comes to the double battle scene,
yeah, it's massive.
It's massive, and especially for a Pokemon like Weezing to have it. He's just a fucking tank, right?
There is not going to be many teams without this Pokemon in double battles.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless of course there's other ways to counter it or things that come up. when we actually get our hands on these games. But what an amazing ability!
Yeah, double battle monster.
Because we talked in the last episode about wheezing and like how fantastic it's going to be in competitive with Levitate. So Levitate makes it so that super effective ground types can't basically hurt it at all. But this just really puts it on its head, so you can do really interesting things with powerful Pokemon.
Like, you might be weak to ground types now, but you can also unleash like maximum potential in an absolutely crazy powerhouse like Slacking or Regigigas, or anything that has a weak start ability. Or even people were pointing out like Archaeops with Archaeops'
true
ability, where when it's under HP it cuts its attack in half or whatever, but when it starts off it's got a really high base stat attack and speed for that matter, I'm pretty sure it was. So that thing is gonna sweep.
It's gonna be good.
Really well. Yeah.
So the next one is what was the ability called? It's called Room Service, and it lowers speed when a trick room is activated in battle. And this is another big one. I've never been I've never been in real competitive Pokemon since I guess Trick Room was like a real viable option in the game. Yeah. So I don't know how exactly like fantastic or whatever this ability is, but obviously lowering speed of like every Pokemon when a Trick Room is activated is going to be greatly handy for you if you're able to get the attack in first on all of these Pokemon that might just have the edge over you or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's also held items. There's Eject Pack. So when a Pokemon's stats are lowered, it immediately gets withdrawn to your team and you can send out your next Pokemon. So this is going to be really useful. So if you're using a move that lowers your defense or something when you use that attack, you can withdraw it straight away without wasting a turn, swap out to your next Pokemon and have it so those stats are reset and you can send it out again and use that big powerful move that would basically make you lose a turn if you want to withdraw it. But with this, it makes that a viable strategy. It could be used against you though. So, if say Gyarados goes out with Intimidate, your attack gets lowered, you go straight back.
Yeah.
And you've got to think about what Pokemon you're going to send in its place, because you can't just send it out again. So, there are times like that when that can be used against you, but you've just got to think about who your opponent is and whether you should use that item or not.
Yeah.
That's the thing with these items. I'm like, wow, that actually adds like a fair bit of strategy just in that one item.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. And like you think about the Pokemon being like, oh, this is its type matching, this is its stats, but it's really the items and the abilities really are what play into the metagame, what make these Pokemon as good as they are. Because like Weezing with a pretty ordinary ability wouldn't have the same impact it's probably going to have in the metagame going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like being like all of the world championships, they're all double battles as well. So Weezing, you're going to see a lot of Weezing next year.
Yeah, without a question, you are.
Yeah. And whether that he ends up being good in the future, he might be countered, but yeah,
we'll see.
So there's a new move. It's called Breaking Swipe, and it lowers attack of all Pokemon hit. So you can lower two Pokemon's attack in just one move if it's a double battle, which could be really handy if that's what you need for that time in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the Pokemon's attack is lower and it does less damage to you, that's quite handy. Corviknight has a hidden ability. It's called a Mirror Armor. And I'm just looking at what it does because I actually forgot. Reflects any stat lowering effects. So if someone puts down your defense, your defense will go down, but your attacker will also, the same status effect will also happen to that Pokemon.
Yeah.
So that's, quite handy. So people might be like, oh, I'm not going to use this because I don't want my defense lowered because his attack is really good and it's going to really hurt me instead of hurting him.
Yeah, that's right.
So makes you sort of think about maybe what your opponent's doing rather than, And they went into sort of details on the Gigantamax moves, sort of explained what they actually do. And what Gigantamax moves do is they have like a second ability. So if you're using an electric move, its second ability is going to like electrify basically the battleground. So Pokemon are paralyzed and slower. So that's going to, I think with Gigantamaxing, they're going to be by the looks of this, they're going to have a lot more of an effect on a battle than a Mega Evolution. Because I know, like, Mega Evolutions, especially depending on what type of Mega Evolution it is, you've got your really strong ones like Kangaskhan and that. When that comes out, you've got to make sure that's gone quick smart before it powers up and you're just sit and get swept by it. But with this, you've got your Gigantamax Pokemon, which has the same effect as, like, all the stat increases and everything. But it's going to have more impact on the battle itself and how you sort of work around its team as well. Because with the double battles, you've got the Gigantamax Pokemon in the back, and it's got like the status effect on the area, which might be rain, might be electricity, might be fire, whatever it might be, and that's how you've sort of got to work around the rest of the battle. And I'm quite intrigued by it, how it sets itself up. What do you think?
I mean, look, I still have my skepticisms. I think that any new gimmick they introduce to Pokemon, they seem very quickly to discard it, which is a real problem. And that makes me wonder how long Gigantamaxing is going to last before that it gets discarded. So it could be really good, and that could be the thing they keep around forever, but something tells me that it's not going to be that way, and that, like, unfortunately, even if it does introduce a bunch of cool ideas, that it's probably not a good idea to get too invested.
Yeah, no, like, I agree with that. Like, with Mega Revolutions, I actually, like, that was the first time we saw with a generation really implement something really, I guess, groundbreaking for the meta and the game itself.
Yeah.
So having something like that for Gen 6, and I guess with Z-Moves for Gen 7, and moving on to Gen 8, we've got Dynamaxing, and Gen 9 might be something else which increases the stats and does a form change. I don't think I actually mind it if it goes from generation to generation, giving us something different and taking it away. Because we saw with Gen 7 how they said his Z moves, but they didn't have the balls to take away Mega Evolutions as well.
Maybe.
It's sort of like it made Z moves not work that effectively, and it made Mega Evolutions being sort of between a rock and a hard place as well.
Yeah.
So I guess for this generation, if we want to do something different because we're developers, we want to stretch our legs, we want to implement something new and exciting and with our creative juices, and we also want a marketing thing to say, here's big Pokemon, here's cool, and get all the kids to buy it, and awesome. I'm quite happy with that, and if they still had Mega Evolutions there, it would be really convoluted in not really a good way, I feel.
I guess so, but I think the other argument is that they could have kept Z moves and Mega Evolutions and just balanced them and done something with them, and it would have been fine. Like there's a lot of things we are now going to see disappear, for the most part anyway. Mega Evolutions designs and stuff like that. A lot of people seem to think that, they'll get into Gigantamaxing, but something tells me no, that's not going to be the case, especially with all the Pokemon actually not being available in the game. It makes it really difficult to sort of go, I trust them to put them all in there, because I don't think they will. So, there's going to be a lot of already designed Mega Evolutions and designed Z moves and all that sort of just gets tossed away. For the most part. And for this new mechanic, I think I don't disagree with the point of having a new mechanic every generation, they're throwing it out and whatever, but in the long term vision of it, you build a couple teams in a game, you move them on to the next one, they completely build around what you're going to use in terms of that mechanic, so Gigantamaxing and all that stuff. All of a sudden, that Pokemon doesn't have as much purpose anymore.
Yeah, but I guess the argument of moving because I've spent heaps of time on teams in previous Pokemon games as well, but I feel like just because they're not, I guess, compatible, or however you want to put it, not compatible, but just not as good, or whatever it might be, or even the same use on the next generation, I don't think that's that big a deal. Just train a different team, I feel because my Heart Gold team, for example, I put a lot of time into that, and I ended up just leaving them on Heart Gold because I didn't want my Heart Gold just to be gutted and left there. I wanted my actual game with all my effort still on that game.
And that's fine if you want that, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there that don't feel that way, and they like taking their experiences with them, and this is why...
And I guess Pokemon are setting us up for that. They're giving us Pokemon Home, so you're going to be training your Gigantamax Tyranitar or whatever. You go, oh, this is an awesome Tyranitar. I've really put lots of effort into it. Next game's come out, up to home, back down to next game, supposedly, and, Gigantamaxing is gone. The way you set it up might not work. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not that worried about that personally.
Yeah, but that's on a personal level.
Yeah.
You got to think about the people that they love the aesthetic of their teams and really want to keep them how they were similarly, and then all of a sudden you remove something and that all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore.
This is like a new sort of, I guess, chapter for Pokemon as well, because going from you go from Ruby and Sapphire all the way to Black and White. You could bring your whatever Pokemon it is, and it'll have the same use like the whole way through. There's been changes, obviously. There's been the physical and specials split. There's been lots of changes to the mechanics over the time, but your Swampert is going to have the same role in your team. It's going to be a wall. It's going to be a physical attacker. It's going to be all the same things. Now, if you've set up a Pokemon up in X and Y with who was your Mega Evolution, who was your Pokemon, your trump card to come out and just kick ass, it's not going to be that in this game.
Just think of Pokemon. Just think of Pokemon like Kangaskhan for a second, like something that turned into an absolute monster.
Who was nothing before.
Who was absolutely nothing before. Now all of a sudden he's nothing again. Do you know what I mean? That's sort of what I'm getting at here. Is that all of a sudden, and especially with Z-Moves is a good casing for this as well, because it was accessible by every Pokemon. All of a sudden you remove that mechanic and all of a sudden it's gone. That Pokemon that you've spent a lot of time on and effort on, and you wanted to... I mean, obviously you can keep it, but it'll never be used the same way again. It'll just be it's gone. Maybe the people want to use that Pokemon the same way in a new team with new Pokemon, utilizing Pokemon from the Galar region, but they wanted to keep something familiar that they gone and went through some triumphs with and all that shit. All of a sudden you can't, because that Pokemon's trash now. It's completely just gone.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, you don't know how to respond to that, do you, mate?
Nah, yeah, whatever. I just want to move on to the last bit of Pokemon talk. So, just at Gamescom, Amori came out and shown off a town from Pokemon Sword and Shield. A little walkthrough of the town. It was pretty basic, just here's the train station, here's the Pokemon Center, here's this.
It looks lovely.
And the town looks really good. Everyone... I wonder if this was a response being everyone's the tree looks like crap. So, yes, the tree looks like crap. But the whole town looks pretty good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The tree looks bad, but the town with all the people in it and all the Pokemon in it and everything looks quite good. So, yeah, I was quite happy with it. I was looking at this looks great.
I was never in doubt of that.
No.
Seeing it, even just from the initial, little things.
All the small things.
Oh, yeah, well... I was never in doubt that those towns look good. They all did. They look good, and I had no problems with them. The tree thing, it's a bit of a stretch to have an argument about it, while I do agree on that. Surely, I would want to hope that the tree's not exactly the same as it was by the time the game's released. I'm sure they can slap a nice texture on there and it won't hinder the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like... You point out the tree, it's that's a crap looking tree. I was yeah, that is a pretty ordinary looking tree. Then you show something in Uncharted 4, it's that's a good looking tree. I'm that is a good looking tree. That's a great looking tree. I got the same response for sort of each game,
yeah,
or whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm not playing when I'm talking about all the items and the abilities what just got announced. I'm not thinking about the trees.
That's exactly right. I'm just saying that I was never in doubt of how nice the game looked.
Don't doubt the towns.
Yes,
I was about to say trains. Don't doubt trains either.
But my point, my real grievance at the moment is that if you want to talk about making things look pretty, that there is things in the wild area they really need to touch up to make it look better. And while I'm not so focused on the tree and being look at the tree, it looks like it's from Oot. Because yes, it does. It does look like it's from Oot, and I'm sure they'll update it.
It's missing the owl.
Yeah, Gabora. Yeah, I know. But we'll get to that.
He would have been really handy there too. Like, where's the Giraffe? Can you point you towards it? It'd be great.
Gabora, I'll choose you. All right.
Good Pokemon.
There you go. Now he's sitting on the tree. You're imagining it?
Yeah, I'm really visualizing it here.
Beautiful. There you go. So now it's an Ocarina of Time tree. Anyway, my point is that like there are a lot of things in the right area where I'm just like, wow, look at this cool, great open space. But I do hope that they touch a little things up to just be like, yeah, just looks a bit nicer. You know, and I'm sure they've probably gotten around to it by now. Obviously, it's not the biggest grievance I have with the game. There's plenty of other things to focus on. But yeah, I feel like they don't really need to address how pretty the towns look because they certainly do. They have ever since we've seen them, like in the first trailer. Yeah,
and we've seen like the trailers progress, and the graphics have been getting better each thing because the game's still in development and it's progressing. And yeah. I just like just lightly touching on this, like, you know, we did the episode, we talked about when the National Dex whole thing unfolded, quite upset about losing like you know, whatever the percentage of the Pokemon won't be in there. That is disappointing because, you know, what we just talked about before with like the abilities and the Pokemon and how they all sort of work into the meta and all that, losing some of the Pokemon will, you know, affect that for us. But sort of how it evolved and went into like, oh, the tree looks like crap. Oh, this, like, all right. So I think even to a degree, like that made us sick of the whole argument as well.
For sure.
I'm like, oh, guys, you're getting away from the vision here. To those of you out there who are like sending death threats and that to developers and that
about trees,
don't do that, because Masuda has come out himself and he's like, he did not want to do this as the producer of the Pokemon games. He doesn't want to cut Pokemon. He didn't want to cut Pokemon, but he's you know, he's getting told by the you know, he's got to have this game out by then, and that's the cut he had to make, unfortunately, which sucks. And hopefully, you know, I'm going to wait until judgment of the game, where hopefully that time was put into other things like the story, post game, the world itself, etc., etc. Hopefully that will be reflected upon that.
Hopefully.
So yeah. I don't think there's anyone who listens to this podcast who, you know, would send death threats and that. But like, it's just really frustrating because you're seeing that with like
it's becoming a real shitty trend in
games, isn't it?
In gaming,
it's like the Ooblets guys who went with the Epic Store, exclusive and not on PC. It's like, you know, they're getting death threats. It's like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Like someone like I'm looking forward to that game. Basically, Ooblets is, I guess I got it described to me as Animal Crossing plus Pokemon. I'm like, if you've listened to this episode, you'll know, but I'm like, yes, that sounds awesome. And, you know, you're basically in this little village and you've got these little things and you do turn-based battles and you're building your village and everything. I'm like, that sounds awesome. All right, I'll get that on PC when it comes out. I hear that Epic, it's coming to Epic Games because they get a bigger cut and they get basically paid and they can fund their game through it instead of maybe having to auction off their house if things don't go as smoothly.
Yeah.
But people saying like, you know, because game development, like I'm not a game developer. I'm not going to tell a game developer how to do their job because it comes back to like, you know, I'm a farmer and there's a lot of people in cities and that who like to tell farmers and people in the country how to do their jobs. You know, like the people in was it Melbourne or Sydney who did the protest about animal rights and that, and they all held up like basically what they do for work. And like, I'm a receptionist, I'm a teacher, and that's like, any of you got anything to do with agriculture? So no, you don't. And it's the same for us. Have I ever stepped in a game development studio? No. So I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but what I am going to say is what product I'm hoping for and expecting, and I want to be spending my money on. That's all I can say. That's all we can say because we're not there doing the grinding, not crunching for the game. So yeah, that's how I feel anyway.
Because at the end of the day, these people are those people, except it's like those people and realizing that you need wool to make blankets.
Exactly.
So you're going to be very fucking cold people without shearing, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know?
And like there are definitely some practices out there where maybe they do need to clean up their act and like, you know, maybe not do some things they do.
Shit, yeah. Of course there are. There's been a lot of questionable things that have happened in the past week. You know, like the guys, I think it was the guys on Apex Legends who basically called people a bunch of entitled dickheads and all that shit. Like, there's a level of PR there you need to manage, guys. Come on. Like, we know people are being dickheads. It's fine. And I know you're getting angry, but saying that to a community that's trying to support you, probably not a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, just as much as we shouldn't send you death threats for providing us a product we like, you know, that seems like a really shitty thing to do.
I don't understand how you jump from like, wow, this microtransaction's a bit egregious. You should kill yourself. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe rethink it. Maybe reprice it. Maybe don't kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe don't go out and go straight to that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So that just frustrates me. Just especially like because a lot of with Apex Legends, I don't play Apex Legends, so I'm not in there. I'm not really that
the atmosphere.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't played it recently either, but yes.
But with Pokemon, you know, I am.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not going to because I've got a lot of respect for the people at Game Freak and all that as well. So. And everything they've shown since this has come out, the trailers, the Galarian forms, and all this, it looks awesome.
Looks good.
Looks really
looks
good.
Fine. Yeah. It doesn't mean I can't hold my frustrations, but
no,
yes,
no,
it does
of course
look good.
You can. Yeah.
You know?
Because I've got my frustrations as well. But
that's something that is really hard to divide because a lot of people are just like, stop being entitled, stop being this, stop being that, and I'm just like, it's perfectly fine for people to be frustrated about something they love.
Yeah, of course it is. We're going to spend our $80 on the game.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get both versions. You know,
like
I'm not going to boycott the game.
No,
I never said I was going to boycott the game as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just frustrating that.
Yeah.
And
hopefully it gets maybe fixed in the future. If
hopefully.
not, well,
hopefully.
Damn.
If not, then yeah.
Damn.
then I might stop buying and playing. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
don't because I've got to talk to someone about it. That's a good audible silence there. Those plovers are going to bed anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce. This seems like a good place to end the show.
We'll quickly talk about those games.
We won't. All we will say is Astral Chain is coming out later this week.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
Are you looking forward to it, Bryce?
I'm absolutely looking forward to Astral Chain.
I am
too. So very keen.
And we're going to go through the list of the huge list of September games, but we'll leave that to next week because that will pretty much be the start of September, so that'll work.
That makes enough sense.
Yeah, and we've this is a nice long episode. I don't know how coherent it is to listen back to, but we might.
I'm sure it'll be alright.
There's been some episodes we've done. It's like, you know, we hit stop. I'm like, oof, and I listen back to it because, you know, I'm curious how it sounded. I'm like, that was actually not too bad. Then there's been some other episodes where we're like, oh, that was a good episode, Bryce. Listen back to it. It's like, no, well,
was it?
Was it? I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to House of Mario episode 112. Bryce, if people were wanting to wish you a happy birthday on the 29th of August, where could they find you on Twitter to do that?
You can find me at IVRevan. But while you're also there, can you please bring attention to my Twitch post to get my friggin' account back because I still haven't.
Okay, yeah, well, people that haven't caught that on Twitter, what's happened with your Twitch?
Yeah, okay, so as I've made mention before, the whole reason I changed my Twitter handle was to match up with my Twitch because I am live streaming from time to time. My Twitch was hacked last month. And I've been trying to get it back for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I've sent 3 whole support tickets, complained numerous times on Twitter, just trying to get people's attention to help me out and get my account back. I have over 50 emails in my inbox of people logging in from all over the world into my account within the space of 48 hours. 50 emails. They're all from different locations. And I've sent them this proof and they still haven't gotten back to me.
So are you saying, like, if you're a huge influencer, you got all these followers, give them a retweet?
Well,
or you know someone from Twitch.
Like, it's not even that. It's just like, you know, even influencers have this problem. Like on Twitch, whenever something goes wrong with their account, they get no support at all. And I mean, my Twitch is no like big gigantoid friggin' ninja level channel, but literally...
Oh, you're halfway there. You've got 7 million followers instead of 14. You're almost there.
Oh, yeah. My whole 7 million followers. something that'll let me quit my day job.
They're all bots just from still in your account. What happens if they hacked your account? They get you all these subs, right? They stream for about a year. They get all your followers up. Then they say, mate, here it is back. We'll just boost in your account for free. There you go, mate. A little pat on the shoulder. And there you go.
All right, Chopper Reed.
Oh, fucking look at me. I'm Chopper. Hell.
But my point anyway at the end of the day is that the support system is crap. I've been trying for days, weeks, just to get my account back. I've sent them literally 25 pages of evidence in one support case. They still haven't gotten back to me. My account name was changed from IV Revan to 1KNSS. I have that memorized now because I'm so frustrated looking at it all the time.
What do you think that stands for?
I have no idea. I just know that it's based in Spain now. All my VODs are still on my channel.
Twitch are going to send back an email. Like, you sure you didn't log in Spain? You sure?
Yeah. You sure you didn't log in Armenia, Spain, Russia, Singapore, Bangkok, where else? California, Perth. There was heaps of them.
You could have been in Perth. That's pretty... You could have been.
I could have been in Perth, but...
It's 8 hours away or something, but you could have been there.
From Perth to Bangkok and then within minutes? No.
No, I'm only pulling your leg. Sorry.
No. But yeah, my point is that, if you want to bring attention to that and you don't like Twitch, there you go. There's something to vent your rage out.
Hashtag move to Mixer. Hashtag join Ninja.
I'm about to friggin' move to Mixer if they don't fix my goddamn shit.
Yeah, but it's your credit card hooked up to it. That's the main issue.
No, that's the thing. My credit card... I can still access my Prime rewards. That should be enough because it's linked to my Amazon, which I can still log into. Why? Why is that an issue? If I could prove I could log into my Amazon and access my Twitch Prime rewards, how the fuck is that not enough proof? Honestly. Anyway,
you can find me at HYPERPOP, and you can find the show at the House of Mario.
You better check if you can see him on Twitch because you couldn't see me on Twitch anymore.
Yeah, I could be gone too.
Yeah.
No, I went on there to watch Dash Culture tonight.
Oh, there you
go. So I'm still there.
There you go.
Yes. And
you lucky prick.
Whoa. Oh. That's not even passive aggressive. That's just aggressive. Do the things, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm not going to bore you. We've been here way too long. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, if you'd like to check out Nintendo Jukebox this week, it is an Animal Crossing remix. Go and check it out.
Beautiful.
The links are in the show notes if you'd like to go and check it out on SoundCloud.
Heave ho.
And until next week, we'll catch you later.
Later. Smelly gators. Love you. Beautiful.
Cross.